Hey, so today is January 7/28, January 16th. Um, I just I'm just recording this video. This is a song by Blue Oyster Cult. It's called "The Alchemist." The official video, and it's about a guy that says that he practices the dark arts of either the left hand path or just magic. I don't believe in magic. I believe in common sense and science, and he does too apparently because he believes in the ability to live through somebody else's mind through satellites. In this song, he's talking about I can live 1,000 lives to finish your line because the only line that will be left of kings is mine, and that's what he's saying because he's entering into the mind of a person and he's killing people through satellite harassment, and he calls it the dark arts because he's getting money doing it. He's getting a lot of funding, I would imagine. But what's interesting is I went to the song and I was like, well, who's writing this song that's so blatant about murder? If you really understand what this O9A is about, the Order Nine Angles. The Alchemist of Blue Oyster Cult was written by H.P. Lovecraft and Richie Castellano. So Richie Castellano has to do with this song, but he was influenced by H.P. Lovecraft, which is a occultist writer. My cousin used to practice his magic, but he used to believe in like some weird form of Cthulhu. But if you understand when you do psychic vampirism and you're actually involved in it, I'm not involved in it. I've just been a victim of it. And I started putting the pieces together. They run transmitting utilities on human sacrifice, like the Nazis. They give you like a 9-digit number through various ties within like government and how their system goes back to, which is the Order Nine Angle system. And then they transmit utility what they can off of your death because you're worth a cuss up, and you're also worth off book debt around the world because how the Vatican works and all these other different temples and organizations. But I just want to keep it real simple. But I think this is weird. Okay, I found this. It says impact of the climate change and health in Colombia and the recommendations for mitigations and adaptations, impact of the climate change and health in Colombia and recommendations for mitigations and adaptation. September 23, 2023. Task leaders Jeremy Villard and Gabriel Aguirre Martins. I'm butchering these names probably. Component 1, Samuel Osorio, Rodrigo Sarmiento, Nelson Alves, Zazuk, Giancarlo Pinda, and Maria de los Angeles Carrasquilla. Component 2, Mercida Tarivide or some shit like that. Miguel Nunes del Prado and Daniel Clark Thompson. This Thompson, again, if you see right here, he's probably a Scientologist because they had Scientology does a lot with maritime law, which would make sense on satellite. And then two, they had an issue where somebody robbed the bank a lot of money from the California, Los Angeles banks of Scientology, and they started guarding them with Thompson machine guns. And I was attacked by how I got brought into this is I stayed in a house with some people, and there was a woman that came, like, for nothing happened to me for a long time. And then my brother got with this girl, and this girl's name is Shannon Hurley, but her mom, I thought she was cute, and if so I was like, let's look into her, and she had this picture with her mom, and I was like, what's her mom? But so I clicked on her mom, look at her mom, and her mom's name is Thompson. So, and she's from Clearwater, Florida. So, and I didn't know these Thompson names had such a great deal of power, but they practice like the infiltration. I think they practice this weird form of astral vampirism, and I'm a victim of it, and it sucks. And they try to give you any reason why that they are vindicated when they talk to you in your head, like they're vindicated and how they're Illuminati and they're powerful and they have everything and every right to do this to you because you're this kind of a person and blah, 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 blah. But then when you go back to the song, The Alchemist, which is there, you'll see how dark this magic is. It's Nazis. And this form of practice comes from escaped Nazis that escaped and they went to South America. They integrated into the culture and they started like things like Fe de Vidas, which means the certificate of life. And then they transmitted all their utilities through Salvation Army and then other different means of once they got the Fe de Vida is like they transfer all their Holocaust stuff and all of their 9-digit secretaries from which they would call their stash holding is called Canada. They took all their Canada and they moved it probably into the Fedavidas to sponsor them, and they embedded themselves within South America. And then they started practicing this weird alternate form that was already existent, because they were already, if they weren't in the program, just two alternate theories that could happen. The Yugoslavians and the Serbians that were already there practiced a darker form of communist Marxist Satanism from Blavatsky or Rasputin, and nobody knew about it, and they unleashed the program. And then, but either way, when the Nazis went down there, they started doing terrible things like skinning 9-year-olds and raping everybody and stuff. And I don't know if it's because they got into this Matrix program, but and then look, Component 3, Mika Iglesias, Marcel Par Tocoraro, some shit, and Luis. Look, here's where it led me to. Luisa Castellano. So I'm beginning to think that these people are actually because Shannon Hurley, the one that was a Thompson, she told me when I first met her, because she's pro-white, she's like Aryan based, and like she literally tells you like she's like she doesn't like, she likes white people, just put it that way, but she's like but she's Chilean. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, because she always is like making fun of me and my music and stuff, and like, because I listen to all kinds of stuff, but she's like, basically, white. But if she's Chilean, that they had an issue with this rape program in Villa Bavaria, and all throughout South America. And these people do exist. But look, it's fine. It's weird. Luisa Castellano, and I don't even know if these people are mixed with Nazis that even know about the Caspians, because the Caspians of Spain also were Illuminati members to the Alumbrados. And I met this guy, Israel, that was stalking me in Florida, because I visited Florida very shortly. And when I was down in Florida, I wish I would remember his name, but he was proud to be Caspian. He was super proud. But he also always told me that he had $1 million in the bank, but he couldn't spend it. It was like kind of like he was bragging about something, but I didn't understand what they were talking about. But graphics design, illustrations, Daniel Willis. And it says 2023 International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, the World Bank, 1818 H Street, NW, Washington, D.C., 2433. Telephone number 202-473-1000. Internet blank www.worldbank.org. Some rights reserved. This work in product of staff of blank. And I sorry I took screenshots, but this is what I think is interesting about this as well. Percentage of deaths attributable to the heat and cold by age group boundaries. So they're practicing with human lives, but what are they practicing? And sex in Colombia. So this is like pretty vague, like sex in Colombia, population. So they're studying the population and how they can manipulate it through like satellites and going into this alchemist world. Figure internal average of mortality rates attributable to the cold and hazard. The heat department, Colombia, population exposure to hazard of average internal mortality rate. So they're dealing with mortality rates and maybe possibly trying to figure out if they can kill you or not. Temperature, just practicing this weird satellite death program on your average mortality rates attributable to heat. Facility Prioritization in Colombia Department 2010. Artificial intelligence based. Integrated, and it's big, artificial intelligence based. So this is definitely satellite. Integrated climate sensitive risk. Figure 11, annual mortality rates to cold and blue-red heat. So they're practicing some form of light. And it says right there, artificial intelligence based, integrated climate sensitive risk. Figure 11, annual mortality rates attached to cold, blue, and heat, red. These are people, and look, sex. So they're practicing like sex magic as well within this stuff. And I'm not crazy, man, but it says it right there. It's an artificial intelligence program, and I tracked it from this one guy that wrote this song and knows this information to this Castellano. And it turns out that, clear as day, like there is, I found it within the same pages of reading about this other Castellano that wrote this song, and bam, it's a relative. And so this place could be highly involved in satellite harassment and death of custom magic. And they are strong. They're strong. They're a strong group. But this is where satellite harassment might be going to, because I've been tracing this stuff into South America, and I keep telling you through the symbolism they are tied into the Double Dragon, and they are tied into the Lafayette Curinon arms, and through like transmute. It's a beautiful work of entrepreneurship, but it is terrifying. This report was made possible through financial groups with agencies Francis Development and Bank Program for Mainstreaming Disaster Risk Management in Developing Countries. Agencies Francis Development implements policies, French policies, international development, solidarity through the financing of NGOs and the public sector, as well as its research. Publications AFD support and accelerates transitions towards a fairer, more resilient world. It also provides training and sustainable development. Sorry, I got a cough. At AFD campus and other awareness-raising activities in France. Japanese Bank Program for the Mainstreaming Disaster Risk Management in Developing Countries, and financed by the government of Japan, and receives technical support from the World Bank of Tokyo Disaster Risk Management Hub, and is supported by the World Bank staff and global facilities for disasters, reductions, and recoveries. And you have to understand, Japan's in this. The Nazis were in France. The Nazis were in Japan. This is like finding a needle in a haystack. And if you think I'm retarded, that you're more than you have a right. You have more than a right to think that. But if you really check into it, this is something to be looked at. But thank you for listening. You guys stay safe out there. And again, if you are hearing voices in your head, you're not crazy. The best thing that I highly recommend you to do, if you've been diagnosed with schizophrenia and you do watch this, I dare you to try something. Go find you a heater, turn on the heater, lay near the heater, turn it on, like this heater right here. Lay near the heater, turn it on, lay next to it, and then let the voices build up, and then turn it off, and see how the voices change and how they stop, because it's all tied into electric transmitting utilities, and it's electric. Some people I've talked to, they think it's spiritual, and I'm like, this is ridiculous because it's totally electric. I caught it in my video shorts too at 6 minutes 54 seconds, and then if you keep watching after 6 minutes 54 seconds, you hear this. You see a light go up attached to a horn, a car horn, and it goes, and you hear, and it's an artificial matrix breaking down. But this is alchemy, and it isn't the government of the United States. It is these Nazis that escaped, that now emerged with some weird satanic religion through like the Order Santanis Rey. And I've been tracking this down, and even it extends, like it goes from the Order Nine Angles, because they were with the Nazis anyways, and then it goes into the Order of the Double Dragon, because the Order of the Double Dragon has transmitting utilities that go back to Santanis Rey, and it was a rental. The Order of the Double Dragon is a rental as long as they serve some purpose and giving a little bit back to China, however that works, or it got taken from China during the SOE, and which was the British, and they used it for like stay behinds kind of sort of. It wasn't the Gladio, or something different, but even unto American heritage with the KKK, because the China owns the KKK. China owns the Ku Klux Klan, because the Order of the Double Dragon, because the Ku Klux Klan used to sell heroin for the Double Dragon to support the Emperor of China, and then in turn the Emperor of China would supply a big chain of command for them to be able to build up what their bank accounts are, and then it goes all back to these transmissions. But again, the Double Dragon got kind of pushed in a different direction during the war, so now it's just a bunch of transmitting utilities through various Nazi departments mixed in with like Lafayette Curinon arms, and like some secretariat boards within proxies of like just bizarre stuff. It's crazy stuff that you can never imagine. But thank you for listening. I hope you have a nice day. And if you have anything to say about this that can help me figure out more about this, just feel free to leave a comment. Just thank you.